Pandemonium Reigns.
Week 10, y'all. It's on deck. It's here. It's a banger of a weekend. Your boys are going to talk about it. Thanks for tuning in with us. I'm Dan. He's Mike. This is Pandemonium Reigns. We got a slate, an absolute slate to talk about. We're going to highlight this weekend by talking about mainly two games. We're going to discuss Missouri at Georgia and LSU at Bama. And we're just going to rapid fire through some other ones right here towards the end. Appreciate you hanging out with us and letting us tickle your ears. Man, you're going to be in front of the TV this time, right? Like not going camping, not doing something silly this weekend?
Somewhat. I'll be somewhat in front of a TV. I'll be on the road quite a bit this weekend, actually, doing some traveling, doing some hanging out, but definitely going to take in some ball. Probably going to record a couple games, make sure that I get a chance to be ready to talk about them next week and enjoy them for that matter. But yeah, going to be able to watch some football this weekend for sure. Just not sure which games or how much. For
sure. I got you, man. Well, my carcass is going to be parked in front of the TV. Going to try to indoctrinate my children at this point.
As you should. Good parenting.
Sacrifice some goats and lambs, maybe some stuffed animals.
I think that's a proverb. That's in the Bible, correct? Thou shalt.
If it's not, I'm going to add it.
Thou shalt teach child to loathe Gary Danielson, right?
None of our games are on CBS, are they?
Yeah, both actually. Missouri, Georgia, I believe, is the CBS 3:30. And then Bama LSU is the night CBS game, 7:45 kick, which is a bold strategy because that's asking CBS to wrap a game up within 4 hours, based on how late the 3:30 kick will be in Athens.
Yeah, it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
Let's see.
If that's the case, what's going to happen is there's just going to be the two TV setup this weekend. Just what's going to have to happen. So
yeah, you're going to need it.
You're going to need it for this weekend. So let's dive right into it. Let's get into the topic of our first game. Missouri at Georgia. The Tigers traveling down to Athens. Kitty cats and doggies. You got a 15.5-point spread in Georgia's favor and an over-under of 55.5. How does that over-under, what does that tell you?
Over-under does not tell me it's going to be a shootout. Well, wait, hang on. My gut tells me that Georgia's not going to be in a shootout, as in a barn burner. They might be in a close game for 4 quarters like they were with Auburn, like they were with Missouri last year. The problem for Missouri is that they're playing Georgia in the slot that Tennessee played Georgia in last year. It's at home. First week of November. Georgia was just handed the number 2 spot in the CFP poll, the one that matters, even though it's still too early to matter. It's the one that does matter.
Right.
That's the very unfortunate thing for Missouri this week. So if they give Georgia a game like they did in 2022, I will be massively impressed. My tune will be totally different than it's ever been on Eli Drinkwitz. But 55.5 does not tell me, it doesn't scream to me that this is going to be a really high-scoring game. I think Vegas is just scared to put this in the upper 40s or certainly any lower than that.
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, my prediction is going to hit the under.
Probably right there with you.
My prediction is going to hit the under. I think what I want to talk about the most regarding this is, well, Missouri's just kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, we were talking about going into the season, is Eli Drinkwitz going to survive? Well, he's going to survive. He's going to add years to his contract potentially. He is no longer he has separated himself from the likes of Shane Beamer. He is in another category, and that is an tribute to the work that Eli has done with considering the departures of guys like Dominic Levitt, right? But it's also a shot straight to Shane Beamer and the dumpster fire that are the Gamecocks right now.
Straight at Columbia, straight at the whole program that's going on right now, ran by the clown that is Shane Beamer. Yeah, I viewed these guys very similar entering at least 2022. I don't know that they separated themselves a whole lot last year. This year, though, totally different story. And I like the way that it's not like I'm a fan of the Missouri program. I mean, they're a current divisional opponent for Tennessee.
Yeah.
But I do admire the way that they're doing this with a guy like Brady Cook, a junior that they've played now for 2 years, who literally bleeds Missouri black and gold or black and yellow, whatever their color is there. I don't even know what you'd call it.
Yeah.
He bleeds that program, man.
Yeah.
It means so much to him. Whereas in Columbia, South Carolina, they nailed it in the portal. Obviously, Rattler disappointed in his first stop, but I mean, Beamer has killed the portal. That's been the thing. He's done really well in the portal. He's lost some very important.
I was going to say he's also been hit by the portal. The portal giveth and the portal taketh away.
It's almost like he has hit his head going in and out of the portal. Is the way that Beamer acts and coaches sometimes. But there's really some admirable things and some serious differences that have come up between those programs now.
Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine if this upset takes place? I mean, the drastic effects on both ends. I mean, what kind of look does that present? Listen, I don't care how good Missouri is or is not.
Right.
When you take an L onto the forehead from Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz, when you're Kirby Smart, when you're like you're so different in personality, right? Like Eli's out here playing with lightsabers and using whatever kind of gimmick motivation he can find, and Kirby's just like, let's just punch him right in the bleeping mouth, right?
Yeah.
A loss for Georgia might knock them out of playoff consideration. Might not, because they're a top 12 team. Of course, that's going to skyrocket Missouri up the playoff rankings. But I don't know. What do you think? Does that ultimately? I mean, it's a gut punch, right? Like you can't afford another goof. You now have to You have to win Atlanta. You don't get to lose Missouri at home and then turn around and lose Atlanta as well and still get in. Especially when you got like the likes of Washington, who are on the outside currently looking in, and in my mind, they're very much a playoff team. But I said the same thing about North Carolina, and here we are. Georgia Tech strikes again. But I mean, imagine a Georgia loss here. Not saying it's going to happen, but imagine.
Yeah, and like it would be the wildest thing, just off the personalities that you just described between the head coaches and how they couldn't be more opposite, really.
Yeah.
When you look at it, and also roster makeup. I mean, seriously. Georgia's roster is made up. The bottom end of Georgia's roster is made up of Missouri stars from last year. I mean, that's how this is right now. Georgia's clearly not what they were in like one key position. That's their interior defensive line.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it kind of sets up well for Missouri, the way they run the ball with Schrader and Cook.
Yeah.
But I mean, a loss for Georgia in this game, I can almost say that it would knock them out. But they're going to Atlanta if they win out, no matter what. If they limit it to one loss, they're going to Atlanta.
Sure.
They win that game, they're in the playoff. So yeah, it's a really big hit, but no one handles a loss and really any form of disrespect or bulletin board-ish material. Nobody handles that like Georgia right now. They've taken that straight from Alabama. Kirby brought it directly from Nick Saban's soul. He tore part of that away from Nick Saban when he left town. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would be wild. I almost can't imagine it, but Georgia's still right there looking at it with a win out situation that they were in 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. So same coin, opposite side. Missouri wins this game. Let's look at it, through their lens. They got one loss on their record against LSU. Okay, so a quality loss there, if those exist. You got to think that if you can beat Georgia at home, you can beat Tennessee, or Georgia in their place, you can beat Tennessee at home, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You got to think. Matter of fact, you got to think that if you can beat Georgia at home, you can beat anybody anywhere, and you can definitely do it on neutral turf in Atlanta, right?
Absolutely, you should think that, yeah.
And what that would do, I don't care if it's 1 point, 3 points, 70 points, it's going to skyrocket them because the narrative is going to be, oh my gosh, down goes Georgia, right?
And Missouri did it.
Missouri, yeah.
But just adding on to what you're saying, yeah,
right. Georgia fans would be begging for the BCS system, say, hey, like, don't pay attention to that stuff, like, because the playoff committee's humans, and they're going to say, well, this is Georgia and you're Missouri. I mean, so Missouri's going to be basically in the spot of like Washington right now, right on the outside looking in, 5, 6, 7, right?
I would say so. Yeah, I mean, their loss, LSU is probably not as good of a loss this year as it has been, but still yet, I mean, it is LSU. It was at home. That's unfortunate for Missouri. It was a home loss, but, still not the end of the world. This game is for the driver's seat to Atlanta is what it is. It's just no one would ever think it comes down to Missouri and Georgia in the first week of November. I mean, again, either team, the winner of this game wins out, they go to Atlanta. Georgia loses this game, they win out, they go to Atlanta. Most likely that actually is incorrect. I mean, it's for Atlanta. It's for Atlanta, but you would never expect it to be this setup with these two teams.
I mean, the only other option, or only other case in which it's not, is if we win out.
Yeah,
that throws a wrench.
If Georgia loses tomorrow, Tennessee wins out. That would technically send Tennessee, I believe.
Well, I just want to say this for all the Georgia listeners listening: Tennessee's not winning out. It's not happening. I'm just saying. You mentioned on the Kentucky recap, the engagement we got on X with, can this Tennessee team beat Georgia? Appreciate the engagement. I'm sticking to my guns. This team cannot. They might. I mean, you play the game 10 times, maybe you win one, right? But you play it once, and I don't like the odds. So whatever. So just the opposite, man. Like you flip the results, you get a Georgia win here and a Mizzou loss, and it's just another day at the office for Georgia.
100%. Even if they, last year we thought it was a sign of cracks in the foundation. You name the cliche, you name the dynasty's over type things because they have a close game, a close win at Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird stadium at not. It's a weird stadium. I don't think it was that cold then, but it's a weird stadium when the weather cools down. It's a day at the office. If they win by 1 point, it's a day at the office is ultimately what it is because they still have this thing and obviously they've had games where it hasn't mattered, but they still have this thing where they're playing without the best offensive player in the country, just about, Brock Bowers.
Fair.
No matter, if they again win by a point, win by 50. I don't think you can discount that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that Missouri's the team that can take advantage of Brock Bowers being out, especially with Delp being such a serviceable backup. And that's really a shot at him unintentionally when I say serviceable. But I mean, yeah, it's a day at the office, no matter how Georgia wins it, if they win it.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about it once it's over. But if Mizzou pulls it off, then we're going to be talking about this loss for what is arguably the rest of the season because, I mean, Georgia's all but a lock to go to the playoffs, all but a lock to go to the Natty, high probability to win the thing. So, yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's dive into some numbers. Statistical leaders for Missouri. Quarterback Brady Cook, 2,200 yards, 15 scores, 3 picks. Listen, man, I like those numbers. I don't care who you are, and I don't care what your strength of schedule is. I like that a lot.
Yeah, there's so much to like about his game. I really found some things to like about his game last year when they traveled to Knoxville in a losing effort, of course. But I mean, I love his toughness. I love the way that he runs the ball and plays alive. He's not Michael Vick, but I love his game. He's obviously grown tremendously in this game. He loves Luther Burden. Who wouldn't? When you've got him out there, any position on the outside. Yeah. So much to like about him. And again, not that I'm a Missouri fan, but anytime a team has a quarterback that is just his blood isn't red, it is your school's colors. I admire that.
Oh, for sure. You pair him with the guy in the backfield, Schrader, 140 carries, 807 yards, found the end zone 9 times. I like that. I don't know what's after him, which for the game coming up in 2 weeks with them, that makes me feel better because we run fit very well, but Georgia's going to, so I don't want to get into an orange cast here. But I'm curious to know what's after Schrader. Not even statistically speaking. Obviously the numbers speak for this dude himself. But then, and as you mentioned, Luther Burden, 61 catches, 905 yards, 6 scores. Does he hit 1,000 coming out of Athens? Does he? Does he get 95 yards?
No, he doesn't. I'm not going to go the Ray Davis route against Georgia that I did for Kentucky. And there's aspects of Missouri that I like much more than I like versus that of Kentucky. Mm-hmm. But for him to get 95 yards, I mean, if he gets 95 yards, I'm going to be wondering just how close this game was if Georgia won it. But he's going to get the attention of either when he lines up outside, the best cover corner that Georgia's got. Mm-hmm. When he lines up inside, just think about the dudes that are going to swarm if the ball goes his way. And obviously the ball has gone his way almost double the times of anybody else. So I don't like his chances to get 95 yards in Athens.
I think this is going to segue us well into the final preview and prediction then. He has to get his in order to pull off this upset, right? I mean,
no doubt about it.
And Georgia is probably going to say, all right, well, we know you can run well, but we're gonna roll coverages and we're gonna do different things, and it's gonna be really hard to get the ball to Burden. But if Missouri is smart, they'll be creative in the ways that they get him touches, jet sweeps, quick screens, bubbles. Obviously you want the ball in the air beyond 30 to 40 yards because he's really good in that department.
Yes, he is.
But if he doesn't get his, if he walks out of there, let's say with a good amount of catches, let's say 7, 8 catches, but the yards are around 30 to 40 and maybe one score, not good enough to get it done for the upset, right?
Absolutely not.
So if Georgia isolates Burden, who is going to be the one to step up? Who's going to be the one that we're talking about this? And man, this guy was electric. And so my question is there a guy that we're talking about in that case? And if there is, who is it?
Yeah, for me, I would say there's not. Just considering that Burden's got 25 catches more than the next guy, I know that they like Mookie Cooper. I know that they like Weiss, and I believe they can throw to their backs, that way.
Yeah,
I just don't like it. That's the bad thing about this is I like Georgia's ability to win in multiple ways. Obviously,
yep.
Missouri, I'm worried about Missouri if it can't be what they want to do. You know what I mean? If they have to revert to another attack or find something else, I don't like that because there's already so many things that I don't like when anyone plays Georgia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't like the idea of Missouri having to go to Plan B or Plan C, you name it. I think that's going to get their quarterback killed if that's what it comes to, Brady Cook. But yeah, I mean, they've obviously got guys that they can try it with. Boy, their success really falls off to me if that's what it comes to.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has to be Burden, and if it's not Burden, I think it has to be Brady Cook after that, and I just don't know if that is possible. I think Georgia's now licking their chops if they're saying you're going to put the game in Brady Cook's hands. Okay, cool. Let's play that game. We're down. We are down. All right. Well, let's get into the final preview and prediction of it. Again, you've got an over/under of 55.5, 15.5 in favor of Georgia. ESPN FBI has got this game 83.5% in the Dogs' favor. Michael Walker, what you got?
83.5 is so staggering when you talk about a matchup.
Let me cut you off. Yes, but ESPN can also suck an egg.
Yes, it can. It's just staggering in the sense that it's a one-loss team. I don't love Missouri's schedule. I love that they kind of gave LSU everything they wanted. I just don't love their schedule. I just don't love some of their wins. Obviously, they've improved as the season's gone.
Okay.
Georgia's going to cover this 15.5, I think. As badly as I want to say under, I do think that Missouri will stoke a couple drives together enough for Georgia to basically carry that spread, that over under of 55.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Georgia covers, and I think I'm going to go 38-20. I think this game is actually going to be closer than that through about 2.5. I just think it's going to catch up to them. I think the adjustment factor as the third quarter goes, the first couple drives after halftime.
Yeah,
I think Georgia's going to win it in that frame, in that section of the game.
Okay. So over by halftime. Is that what I'm hearing?
No. I'm saying close-ish into half, but the punch back out of the game, coming back into the third quarter, I think that's when Georgia's going to create some separation.
Okay, I misunderstood.
No, you're
okay.
good.
I got you. Okay. Yeah, I like Georgia. I like Georgia for a lot of reasons. I think Missouri has one formula in order to win this game, and I think Georgia has about 100 in order to win this game. I'm going to take the Dogs 35-17. I'm not sure what that math is. Does that mean they cover?
52.
That means, well, yeah, that hits the under. I knew that. I'm looking at the spread. I don't math well. Yeah, so Georgia's going to cover. Is what that's going to boil down to. I'm going to take them 35-17. I guess I'm not completely sold on Mizzou, who they are yet. If this was, I don't know, anybody other than Georgia, I might feel different. Okay, anybody outside of who's sniffing the playoff right now, I might feel different. I'm certainly gonna struggle to pick this game when it's UT Mizzou. That's gonna be struggle bus. But yeah, for now I'm gonna take Georgia. We're both gonna take Georgia. Mike's gonna take them 38-20. I'm going to take them 35-17.
And I think we'll learn a lot about trying to project this game for Tennessee, obviously on Saturday. The thing is, they've strung wins together, but it wins over South Carolina, Kentucky, which was probably, to me, one of their more impressive wins on the year. That's including Kansas State at home, who they beat by 3.
Yeah.
I'm just not sold on the wins, who they've come over. I think the fashion in which they beat Kentucky is what really stands out to me. Not seeing every minute of that game, though, I don't know where the blame falls, if it goes to Kentucky or if it's credit to Missouri. But yeah, I think we'll learn a whole lot, be able to project a whole lot better.
Huh. I'm down with that. I'm just hoping that Eli Drinkwitz takes the field in a Darth Vader suit and an actual lightsaber.
And I know what else I was going to say. I know there was a reason I stopped you. The other reason that I don't love this is that there's not a wider backfield in all of America.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. The Duke basketball team of college football are the Georgia Bulldogs. We're picking them both. We like the dogs at home. Next up, we got LSU at Bama. Over under is 61.5. The spread falls in favor of Bama. And you have to believe, just like we've talked about with South Carolina, Tennessee, that this is one that Bama has had, one of two that Bama has had circled going into this year. Jaden Daniels with an epic performance last year in Baton Rouge, getting that win on a 2-point conversion play, if I remember right, to Mason Taylor in overtime. I got to believe Bama's got this one circled, man.
Dude, if they don't, and I would be absolutely shocked. Nothing actually, you asked me to look for upsets, and I'm not saying I'm calling this one at all. We'll get to that point in just a minute.
Yeah.
Nothing would maybe surprise me more in college football this week than LSU winning this game. And again, sorry for the spoiler. I know we're about to get to the actual numbers here. I mean, Bama, dude, they sweep the leg. They hold the grudge. Saban goes for the jugular. You name it, dude.
Yeah.
And then, look, it's not like either team neither of these teams were winning a championship this year as it's played out, obviously, to my mind.
Sure. Sure.
Alabama could still shock us all. They could. It lines up for them if they execute.
Yeah.
But not a lot of impressive wins. As you look down the LSU schedule, they've won 2 games by 62 points exactly. Does that do it for you when it's Grambling and Army?
Yeah.
And it's 6-loss Army. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not 1 or 2-loss Army like it's been at other times. Bama still, I mean, not exactly selling anyone. They've improved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's but again, if they do anything, they sweep the leg, they get their revenge.
Yeah, it's exactly what they do. But I have to come back to this remark. You'd be more surprised with a LSU win over Bama than you would Missouri over Georgia?
It would be dang close in my mind, dude.
Wow.
Dang close.
Wow.
Because of this is the revenge factor. This is the Saban factor. It's all those things. Losing to the same team 2 years in a row, which he's not done in 10 years now. I'd be shocked if he's done it within 10 years now. I mean, he lost. There was a year in between. I was going to say he lost to Clemson in the 2016 and 2018 Natties, but that's you can't count that.
It's only Ole Miss, right? It's only Ole Miss.
That's the one I'm going back to.
I think Hugh Freeze is the only one to do it.
Woo! Wow.
And surely if there was another one, the media would have let us know.
Surely.
Well, if LSU is such a surprise to you to pull this off, what has to happen in order to pull it off?
Well, frankly, what has to change? That's the bad thing. LSU has to change. They have to change from who they've been all year, because you look at 3-point win over Arkansas. Arkansas's got 6 losses.
Okay.
You've got probably this is what's bad. Most impressive wins. You blow out Mississippi State. You blow out Auburn. You give up 1,000 yards to Ole Miss. Doing a lot of the same things. Like, it's not like Ole Miss was running triple reverse passes, and finding ways down the field that way.
Yeah,
they were doing a lot of the same things, getting guys going. So what has to change for LSU is their defense has to be someone they've not been. They have to get Milroe on the ground. They've got to stop his legs.
Yeah,
they've got to not give up the deep ball, which they do at an alarming rate.
Right.
Just so many things have to change, and then their offense has to execute in Bryant-Denny Stadium, not in the friendly confines of Tiger Stadium at night. Flip the script. You're going to Bryant-Denny at night. You're probably playing 11 on 15 or 18, however many officials there are on the field.
Yeah.
Change my mind on that. Good luck.
Sure.
So many things have to go your way. I think you got to win the turnover battle by 2+ to win this game.
Sheesh. I think it's a little simpler than that. As crazy as it sounds, I think you just need a shootout. I think if this goes into, I think if you hit the over, right? If you get above, where did it go? 61, right? You get into the 30-40 range apiece, and it comes down to who has the ball last. I mean, Jane Daniels, his numbers tell you that he's nearly unstoppable. 25 scores on the year, only 3 picks, 2,500 yards, compared to a Jalen Milroe, who has missed one game. I believe that was against USF, 1,600 yards, 13 scores, and 5 picks. I think the question is, and I think Jalen Milroe is your X factor. What Jalen Milroe do you get? Do you get that one where he throws the underneath ball and he just didn't see that under defender? Did he throw it anyway? Like, if you get that, then maybe you're looking at your +2, turnover margin. If you get that, then I do think you could be in trouble. But it could also come down to, as simple as a muff punt that puts LSU and, immediately a player or two in the red zone or starting off in the red zone, something like that. Obviously, that's just football, period. But in specific to this one, LSU's like, man, let's make it a shootout. But we ain't stopped anybody anyway. I mean,
you're correct. Yeah, you're correct. I mean, they could, if they want to try to go the Tennessee 2022 path. I mean, they're more fit for that because they've done it than Alabama is more fit. They're less fit for that, obviously.
Yeah.
LSU's run game. I like their run game a lot more than I like Alabama's. Even though, look at the similarities. Look at the athleticism of the quarterbacks. You've got 611 yards for Diggs at LSU. I know McClellan's not. Surely he's not got 611 on the year. I mean, I'm about to get to it in just a minute, and I'll tell you. He's not. He's about 50 yards short of that. You've got Milroe that's been sacked 13 more times than Daniels, and he's played one less game, like you said. He didn't have a game last week because they had a bye after Tennessee, which also sets up poorly for LSU.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, take this game into the stratosphere, take it to outer space, make it a shootout. That's the best path.
Yeah.
I mean, although you're giving yourself a 50-50 shot at least in that stance, usually, as long as you can get a stop here or there or have the ball last. Yeah, I mean, that's what they have to count on. I don't like counting on that with Nick Saban trolling the other sideline.
Sure. If I'm Kelly going in this, I'm like, hey y'all, we miss all the shots we don't take. Let's be aggressive. Let's come after it defensively. If they get the big play and score, awesome. We're gonna put their defense right back on the field. I'm wanting the shootout if I'm LSU. I think that's my best chance.
You're probably correct.
All right, well, let's get into the preview and prediction of it then. So, or the final prediction of it. So you got ESPN FBI, 37.6% for LSU. That leaves Alabama, 62.4%. And then again, you're over under 61.5. Alabama, favored by 3 at home. What do you got?
Well, I'll tell you, I like that over just because LSU has not been slowing teams and stopping them. And Milroe has been finding that deep ball week in, week out lately. And that sets up, like we talked about, so poorly for LSU. I like the over. I like Alabama by right at 10. So let me think here. I'm going to say, I'll go a little bit under that. I'm going to go Alabama 38, LSU 34. Nope, I'll go 31.
38-31. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Over under is at 61.5. My total sits at 61. I've got Bama 31-30.
Oh,
I think that the LSU offense is going to get stifled in some scenarios and have to settle for some field goals, which is going to set up again for their loss. So give me Bama. Unfortunately, I'm back to hating them again. Yeah. I mean, I've always hated them, but after we beat them last year, it was like, oh yeah, it's not so bad.
Cuties.
But we've had some unfortunate Bama fans come troll our account. So back to wishing death upon your program again. That's where I'm at. Never mind. I'm not going to say it over the air. I'll take Bama. He's going to take Bama. I'm going to take him 31-30. Mike's going to take him 38-31. All right, this is how we're going to end this episode. I'm going to throw 3 potential upset opportunities at Mike like he did at me last week. And man, he threw some absolute bangers at me when you look at this thing in hindsight. So I'm going to throw 3 at him, 3 opportunities. You're going to have to give me 1. And then after that, we're going to go rapid fire throughout the rest of the country. We won't do final scores, but we'll talk about who covers, that sort of thing. Who covers, who wins. All right, so here are the upsets. Okay.
All right.
Iowa State at Kansas. Kansas is ranked number 21. Your spread falls into favor of Iowa State at 2.5. I don't care what you say. Iowa State wins that game. That's an upset.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Kentucky at Mississippi State. Kentucky's favored at 4.5. I don't care what you say. Mississippi State wins that game. That's an upset.
Yep.
And then the last one, Jacksonville State at South Carolina.
Yes.
It's a 16.5 point spread in favor of the Gamecocks. Why am I mentioning this one? Because Columbia is on fire right now.
Which Gamecocks you say?
Yeah, right. That is a Group 5 school that I just don't want on my schedule. They've got similar, juju to App State, so I don't want that. And Jacksonville State pulled off the Florida State upset just a few years ago. They're going to come for blood, that South Carolina is going to get Jacksonville State's absolute best. This is their first year as an FBS program. They're wanting to prove something, right? They want to be the reason that South Carolina fires Shane Beamer, right?
Yeah.
I think they're going to be coming in hot. The spread is minus 16.5 in favor of South Carolina. Give me one of them.
Kansas, Iowa State, Kentucky is at Mississippi State, correct?
Yes.
And then Jacksonville State, South Carolina. Wow. I'm with you. And let me make sure I heard you correctly. You said if Iowa State wins that game, that's the upset. But ignoring the spread of 2.5 in their favor, correct?
I mean, it's an upset because Kansas is top 25.
I'm with you. It's a ranking upset. It's not an upset of the betting spread, and I'm agreeing with you on that. It's an upset for me if Iowa State wins that game.
I mean, you're going to host Oklahoma, turn around or beat them, turn around and host Iowa State and lose. I mean, is that what you're going to do? Exactly. You're flying high. You're riding high with Bean at quarterback. Whew, Kentucky. Man, they just got their best game out of their quarterback on the season. Wasn't enough to beat Big Brother that you still just cannot beat. And then Beamer absolutely coaching for his job in this game. I don't care what anybody says on the Gamecock beat or what the fans say. Lose to Jack State and see if you're employed on Monday, my boy. If I have to pick one, the most likely upset in this case, the most likely to me is still Iowa State. That's fair. I think it's fair. I mean, I think
that
the spread
like
tells
such
you
a
that.
letdown answer. I feel like I'm even letting myself down on that answer.
Well, you had better opportunities to present to me last week. I mean, the writing was on the wall, right? And again, you did pull some magic out of your hat, but you had a little bit more to work with.
And I could have seen all three happening as well. I know I didn't probably exude that much confidence.
It was super close.
But, I really could have seen, when I presented them to you, I could have seen all three happening. Even if I didn't come across that confidently on that. In order of likelihood on this, I'm going to go Kansas losing to Iowa State, Jack State getting the upset over South Carolina, third Mississippi State beating Kentucky. They've had some really tough times. I know they're the home team. I know I know they want to do so much more. I just don't see it for them.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair. Are we doing the thing where you ask me the same question based off these three?
Yeah. Let me hear you.
Give me Jack State, baby.
I know
it. South Carolina is on fire. They are crumbling. Shane Beamer just threw his son under the bus. Did you hear about this?
No. What?
Okay. So long story short, he's apparently got a young kid. Okay. I'll find it to you and I'll send you the clip. Y'all go search for it on Twitter. It's like a 45-second clip. He's talking about how his son has got some kind of like Halloween parade thing, and it happened, and mom and son didn't tell Shane Beamer about it. And he said, "Why didn't you tell me about it?" And she comes back and says, "Well, I just figured you would have practice or game planning or something, and I didn't want to burden you with this." And he either asks his son or his son gives an answer anyway. And he says, "Well, Dad, you're 2-6. I figured you needed to work."
My boy. That's my boy. Oh,
right?
My gosh.
Oh my gosh. So
why would you ever say that, you idiot?
I mean, this is what he does.
That's what he does, man.
Dude,
he thinks it's hilarious.
This is a recipe for disaster for him. This game is coming at a terrible. You're better off hosting or traveling to Alabama or traveling to Georgia at this spot where they expect you to lose, because now there's all kinds of pressure on you, right? So can Beamer handle this pressure? Which you got to know is there. They're 2-6. They have to win out in order to go bowling. So they're looking at this. I think it could go one of two ways. They either think that they're going to roll the ball out and they're just going to win this game and it's going to backfire and fight in the butt, or they're going to play, uber conservative, really tight. I mean, give me Jack State. Give me Jack State. Give me Jack
Gamecocks taking down the Gamecocks in Columbia. I like that. That travels. That works both ways. Not an ideal kick time, probably at noon Eastern. Probably not ideal. Not what you want.
Sure.
I want to ask you this too: is it Jacksonville State? I know there's a team that just made the move to FBS and is ineligible for a bowl because the NCAA is a communist party. Is it Jack State, or am I confusing them with somebody else?
I think it's Sam Houston. I don't think it's
Houston?
Jack State. I could be wrong about Sam Houston, but I don't believe it's Jack State.
Okay, if it is, let me just say, if it is Jack State, if I'm thinking correctly on that, this is their bowl game.
Their Super Bowl? Is that what you said? It's their Super Bowl?
No, never mind. I take it back. It's not their bowl game then, because Carolina is nobody's Super Bowl. But you're going to get a whole lot more up for South Carolina than you are for 3-6 Louisiana Tech and 6-3 New Mexico State. If you ask me, I know that New Mexico State one could impact some conference standings, some of those things. And look, they're a really good team. 7-2. You're correct. You don't want to play them in regards to them being App State. They have a better record than App State at this point of the season.
Yeah.
You don't want them, man. You'd probably rather play Appalachian State at this juncture, because they're at least 4-4 and not as dangerous as this Gamecocks team is.
Yeah. All right, we're going to do some rapid fire predictions here, and then we're going to sign off. All right, so buckle up your chin strap, put your seatbelt on, Mike. Let's do this thing. Ready?
Let's do it.
Yep. All right, here we go. First one, Kansas State at Texas. Texas is favored by 4. What you got?
Kansas State wins that game outright without Quinn Ewers.
I like what you're thinking. I'm going to take a Texas win, but Kansas State covers. Kansas State is basically the Utah of the Big 12. They don't beat themselves. They tackle in the open field well. They pursue well. They're coached well. They want to send Texas out of the Big 12 packing the same way Kansas has done Oklahoma. Speaking of Oklahoma, Oklahoma travels to Oklahoma State for what is the last we know of Bedlam. Oklahoma State is at +6, so they like OU here. What you got?
I think Oklahoma has been playing above their level for part of the season. They've been playing bad football for 2 weeks. We'll see if it turns into 3. I'm going to stand by, even though I just went against it picking Kansas State. I'm going to stand by home teams this year in this game because I think that Oklahoma could be looking at what they've lost. Obviously, this is a rivalry where you expect them to be out for blood and continue to do what they've done. Okie lot, outright, man. They win this game. They've turned their season around from a terrible start, and they're going to keep it going on Saturday.
Okay. I would like Okie Light if Oklahoma wasn't coming off a loss to Kansas. I just don't see a narrative where they do this back-to-back weeks. I'm going to take Oklahoma outright.
I feel you.
Washington at Southern Cal. Washington +3, so they like USC here. What you got?
I might have sent that to you incorrect. They like Washington in this. I'm 99% confident. I'll find it as I'm telling you what I expect in this game. And what I expect in this game is that it could be played on the moon. Yeah. Looking here at the ESPN app.
I see it, yeah. So Washington -3. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Washington is a 3-point road favorite in Los Angeles. Doesn't matter if they play it on the moon. This is Washington's get-right opportunity for their offense that's been lackluster the last couple of weeks. Yeah. They're also right outside the playoff 4, looking to get further into that. They're going to make a statement. They're winning this game by 10+.
I like it a lot. I'm going to take Washington as well. Washington to win outright. A high-powered offense like Washington, USC doesn't have a pulse on defense. Washington might win by 40.
They very well might.
They might win by 40. Oregon State at Colorado. Colorado +13.5. What do you got?
Oregon State wins this game. I think they cover. Colorado, like Missouri, like LSU, best chance to win, make it a shootout. Oregon State doesn't allow that to happen a whole lot. Colorado fighting for bowl eligibility. Nebraska has a better path to bowl eligibility at this point. I've been meaning to say that on this podcast. I don't like Colorado in this game. They'd have to turn it into a shootout. I think Oregon State covers that two touchdown favorite that they are.
Yeah. Oregon State's physical, and nobody is talking, in addition to being physical, nobody's talking about former Clemson quarterback DJ Uiagalelei, who is only doing exceptionally well up in Corvallis. Oregon State wins, Colorado covers.
All right.
Notre Dame at Clemson. Clemson +3. What do you got?
This is the second time that I can think of just this year that Clemson is a home underdog. And boy, is there every reason in the world for them to be a home underdog at this point. Notre Dame no longer playing for many playoff aspirations and hopes like they had early in the season. Doesn't matter. They're not going to be the team. Marcus Freeman's team is not going to be the one where Clemson gets right, which I say half-heartedly because they're already 4-4.
Yeah.
They're heading towards 4-5. Notre Dame wins this game. They cover that 3-point spread.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to take Notre Dame outright as well. Clemson has too many offensive woes. Notre Dame does not have offensive woes. Cade Klubnik you don't know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get with Sam Hartman. Give me Notre Dame outright. Texas A&M -3 at Ole Miss. What do you got?
Whoops, I might have sent you that one incorrect as well because Ole Miss is the favorite there. That's probably on me.
My bad.
Can Ole Miss? No, you're good. That's on me. Can Ole Miss do the things that Tennessee did to Texas A&M in a similar spot, being the home team? I'm afraid that they cannot. We'll learn a lot about Lane Kiffin in this spot, I think. I do think because of the variety that he has on offense versus what Texas A&M has been at times, the trajectory that they've been on, I think Ole Miss gets this win. I'm going to say, even though it's 3, Texas A&M covers, Ole Miss wins.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take Ole Miss outright. Ole Miss is too balanced. Judkins in the backfield. Jackson Dart is playing really well. It's it's in Oxford. A&M is they're improved from previous years, but just not enough. They lost to a Tennessee team where Joe Milton threw for 100. Jackson Dart is going to do better than that. They lost for a Tennessee team who ran for 230 something. Quinshon Judkins can do that himself. Give me Ole Miss. Arkansas at Florida. Florida -6. What do you got?
Boy, this is as much as I want to say Jacksonville State beats South Carolina. Do I want to say Arky finds a way in this? I don't see it, man. I don't even know how they have any fight left. They got 6 losses. I believe they're 2-6 on the year. They're a mess. It hasn't worked out like anyone wanted it to or projected that it might. Florida covers. They win this game by probably 2 touchdowns or maybe more. The only thing that is not of great setup for them is that it is a noon kick, so they could sleepwalk into it. They're wearing black jerseys, though, I think, so they're probably not going to do that. Florida's going to win by 17-21, probably at minimum.
Florida's wearing black jerseys?
I think that's correct. I saw it earlier in the year. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh my gosh. Everybody's doing this crap. While you're looking at that, I'm going to take Florida to cover as well. It's at home. This might be the end of Sam Pittman just with how poorly this has gone. KJ Jefferson is obviously a stud. Rocket Sanders is obviously a stud. They're just not doing the thing, though. They're just not doing it. It's not happening. And Graham Mertz, the preseason guy that was doubted by everybody, is defying the expectations that were set against him. Give me the Gators at home. And then we got Georgia Tech at Virginia. Virginia -2.5.
It's an odd-numbered game. That's all I need to see. Virginia gets the win over Georgia Tech.
Okay. I'm going to say Georgia Tech defies the odds. Give me Georgia Tech outright. You got to like their trajectory. Of course, you're Virginia on the uphill climb as well, but give me Georgia Tech in the upset.
I like it. I can see either one. I'm just going to ride the numbers at this point. And I got one question for you before we do wrap the puppy up.
We got one more.
Oh, my bad. Forgot about one.
Miami -5.5 at NC State. NC State is not a basketball school, supposedly.
I forgot about Miami. You see, I thought Miami was a basketball school here lately, so I forgot about their football program and you wanting to talk about this game. I do think they win this one. I could see this game going a number of different ways. I do think Miami wins this game, but North Carolina State covers the 5.5. You said
5.5.
Yeah, Miami wins. North Carolina State covers.
Man, we think alike. Miami wins. NC State covers. I'm doing the same thing. If Miami comes out of Raleigh with a loss, they can still win if they will drop their contract with Adidas and go with Nike. What do you got?
I got one question for you. It's not a score prediction. It is a over-under on minutes played. Nico Iamaleava, over under 16 minutes played.
Over.
I'm with you. I take the over on that as well.
But I would have said the same thing against Austin Peay.
We would have. And the bad setup is that UConn has given up 38 plus points one time this year to Duke, I believe, or maybe they gave up exactly 38 to Duke.
Yeah.
Bad news. They're a 1-win football team that should allow Tennessee to flex some muscles, to get some guys in. The starters should be playing for that. Get them a break before this stretch of Missouri and Georgia. I'm going over.
For sure. The real question is who would win in a matchup, UConn or Jacksonville State? That's going to be all for this episode of Pandemonium Reigns. We've taken too many shots at the Gamecocks and Shane Beamer. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Hope you enjoyed this episode 112. It keeps coming upon us. We've got about 4 games apiece per school left in the college football regular season. Make sure you enjoy it. Thanksgiving will be here before you know it. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you again so much for hanging out with us. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and follow. It does wonders for the algorithm, and we do wonders for your ears every time you turn us on. We love you guys. I'm Dan. He's Mike. God bless. Go Vols.
Here we go.
Pandemonium Reigns.